SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Starting a firm with nothing but a printed leaflet and gritty determination, Melissa Browne focused on profitability and strategic growth to build a thriving business. From helping clients with tax to business coaching, she developed groundbreaking systems that revolutionised her practice. Melissa explains how she scaled, streamlined and ultimately sold her firm for 7 figures. She starts by describing her origin story to Jeff Waters.
I started my firm when I was 28 to supplement some study. I just wanted some income so that I can do some more study. So this will give away my age, Jeff, but I letterboxed my neighbourhood. It was a printed leaflet that I had printed myself because I didn't have any money. And through that, I received a few clients. So that was how I began my accounting firm. And I ended up giving away the study. It was something very unrelated to accounting, and realised that the accounting firm that I had accidentally started was something that I enjoyed and that I continued on with.
What did you enjoy about it?
Look, at first, it was one of those things where I was just doing tax. And I got to be honest, I don't know that any accountants necessarily love tax.
It sounds an unlikely passion.
Let's
put it that way.
It's very unlikely. But after a number of years, what I realised is I was particularly helping women, and also I had built up a whole lot of tradesmen that I was dealing with, and often engaging the woman who was the bookkeeper, and that was kind of the into their business. And I kept seeing the same problems again and again and again. And what I realised was, yes, I could help you with your tax, but actually what I can help you even more is to build your business. And so very early on, even before there was business coaching, that was something that we did, is we would help businesses grow their business and reduce their tax. So it was that two-pronged approach.
Well, 2 things there. You use the word we. Are you expanding at this stage?
I was expanding at that point. So a couple of years into that solo endeavour, I hired my first accountant and then a junior receptionist, and then I started to put on more accountants. And I grew very organically like that as the business grew. But what I worked out after probably about 5 years, when I divorced my first husband, and you kind of get into that analysing mode, was that the business was growing, but it just wasn't as profitable as it should be. And I was helping people build their businesses and build their profitability, but I wasn't applying that same lens to my business.
But before we go on, sorry, I have to stop you there because I had a second part to that question.
Please.
And you've touched upon it, which is you mentioned that you helped other businesses grow. You've touched upon how you did that yourself, but I assume that you learned it yourself and then you passed that on, that knowledge.
Yeah.
So please expand on that.
So I was studying an MBA, I was learning about marketing and all those things that we as accountants learn, but we don't necessarily apply to our own businesses. I had joined a business group myself with other accountants, with Rob Nixon up in Queensland. And what I decided to do is bring back those concepts and apply that to my clients. So I took them through leads, conversion rates, retention rates, average sale, and the number of times your customers do business with you, like all the things that we take for granted. I would help them understand that in their own businesses. And of course, when your business owners focus on their numbers and the activity they need to do to grow their numbers, then of course they're going to become more profitable. And we put templates and processes in place so that my accountants could also run those meetings. It wasn't just all on me. We ran masterclasses. We did all sorts of cool things. But what I realized is I wanted to do more of that business focus work, but clients would just, and accountants know this, they would just come and dump their work in when they were ready. And it was so hard to juggle making my firm profitable, having the right mix of accountant and receptionists, and admin staff, and also doing that really profitable and more interesting business work. So I devised a system that I ended up selling to other accountants to help them in their business.
Does it have a name?
It's such an accountant name, Jeff. It was called the segregated tax month system.
Oh, I love it.
And that's because that's what we called it internally. We're segregating you, giving you a tax month. It was such a practical name.
Well, you get what it says on the tin.
It's what it says on the tin. So what we did is we gave every single client that was a business client of the firm a tax month. We gave it to them in June. We told them if they gave their work to us at the beginning of that month, that we would guarantee to have their work done by the end of the month. So they were delighted because they had certainty. We had certainty because we knew when the work was coming in. We had ability to move if clients wanted to change. But also we gave them the option in the end. We gave them 3 different packages that they could choose from. The minimum was tax and tax planning. Like if you don't want to do that, then that's the minimum we're prepared to do with you. The next one was business advice, but on a quarterly basis. And then the highest one was business on a monthly basis. And every single package meant that you could also pay by the month. And what that meant for me is cash flow. Because instead of with an accounting firm, their clients come in, you give them the tax bill, the ATO gets paid first, and then they'll try and push your bill down and pay you last, well down the track. But this way, the clients are delighted because they don't have bill shock, and you're kind of squeezing the vegetables in with what you know they need. A client is not necessarily going to come in and ask for a budget. You know that if they had one, and if you could give them reporting on it, that it would be really helpful. A client doesn't know they need tax planning, but if, again, you've built it in there and it just happens, they're delighted. So that increased our profitability exponentially, meant that we hired more admin staff to run it. But our accountants were delighted because they didn't have to do the admin. They could, again, just do that really interesting work.
Fantastic. So you could scale on that basis, and that's what you did.
Exactly.
And please, to wrap up, what was the result and what was the time frame to when you were able to sell the business?
So my business was ready to sell at any point, and I had always decided at age 50 I wanted out. But a number of years before that, I woke up one morning and had a compressed nerve in my neck, and it meant that I couldn't move.
Oh, no.
And for 3 months, it just really debilitated me. And I
Oh, I'm so sorry.
At the same time, my senior accountant came to me and said, well, I think I'm out. I think I've got 12 months left. So when those 2 things happened, I just brought forward my exit date. The firm was always sale ready. So I rang the 3 people that I thought might buy it. One just wanted some clients, but one said, yep, I'll come in and I'll take it. So within 3 months of me deciding to sell, it had sold, and we sold it for 7 figures.
That's Melissa Browne, founder of Mel Browne Money. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast.
SoundCartel.